An excerpt from the letters of Augur Nicolaj, addressed to Senator Sofina Laurentis, Arch-Sibyl of the Eyes of Smoke. Senator, this is my last pigeon and therefore my last letter. As such, I will waste no time. I believe we have made a terrible mistake. You understand the prophecy better than anyone in all Zel Sha'el, but given what I have witnessed, my heart and mind return to the old adage. Prophecy read poorly is worse than no prophecy at all. These monsters, Senator, the horrors they do, and worse, the horrors people do to one another to escape them. I am at my wit's end, Senator. I am terrified for my life and for all of us. I will try to return to Novara, though I cannot imagine how. I am past the point of trusting the future. All I can trust now is fear. So, when the Legion's commander wants information, he sends Samnail of the Sharp Rebuke. Samnail Evergrace is Azar's attaché, his man-at-arms, and Z looks every bit the part. Crisp uniform, polished boots, trimmed mustache, perfect poise. A mop of wild black hair is the only concession to chaos. Everything else is precise, orderly, conventional. When it's time to go over the missions, Samnail steps into the command tent, salutes crisply, and says, "Commander, it is fucked. It is truly fucked out there. We are practically dead. Dead with a capital D, dead. Those big Florida D's you see in our annals, dead. If the gods had any grace at all, we would have realized we were dead already. Instead, we are here, still fucking bumbling around. Gods choose me. So, since we are not walking to Sarpat, here's what's on the menu." Z steps up and begins pointing at places on the map. Refugees from the Omniculum say an augur from the Eyes of Smoke fled to a nearby town to send an important message. No one's heard a thing from them since. If they're still there and they're alive, bringing them back might yield important info. Eyes of Smoke always seem to know more than anyone else what's going on. We could also scout the way to Sarpat. There's an old watchtower here that'd be an ideal lookout point. And on top of that, we sighted one of Whisper's minions wreaking havoc ahead of the Never Army. When Chara was broken, she took her sky snakes with her, and now one of them is terrorizing the locals. Or what locals are left, anyway. So, what's the plan, Commander?
So, this has all been decided ahead of time. It'd be really funny now if I said something different and just throw everything into chaos. But no, we're going for...
I'd play it super cool. It's so cool.
For a primary...
And then in the middle of the night, I'd rap on your window.
You just go the, 2,000 miles or whatever to come visit.
100%.
I mean, honestly, you'd be welcome.
Thank you.
So for the primary mission, we're going to go full exfiltration, the trying to save this cleric, or what's the term that we came up for the Eyes of Smoke?
An auger.
An auger, right.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to save this auger. The reasoning there, the sort of in-character reasoning, is that what we really lack is intel, and if we succeed, then we'll get the most intel there. And because we're actually going to be playing it, we have the best chance of actually forcing a success. Or at least that's the theory.
Right.
I think bringing back the auger to the camp is going to have maybe some interesting results, considering the morale of the people and their like kind of newfound faithlessness in the Eyes of Smoke, and their more dependence on the here and now and each other. So we'll see what happens.
As a reminder, the Eyes of Smoke were the ones that put out the call of like, hey, we need to make a final stand. We need to gather as many chosen as we can. We need to reassemble the Consonant Legion. Not merely the Legion, but the Consonant Legion. Which resulted in this grand battle, or what was meant to have been a grand battle to begin with.
I think the tone when Azar sends the order out is not bring this person here so that, they can help us. It is bring this person here in chains.
Oh.
We're going to get information out of this person.
Okay.
But not necessarily, we don't know if they're friend or foe.
Are we sure we want to send such a brutal message? This is Kale, the Smiling Willow.
Dude, who are we sending the message to? It's just one guy.
No, the people that will see this individual dragged into camp in chains.
Azar, are you used to having your orders questioned so immediately like that?
No, I don't think so.
By like
What are you
a
gonna do
super
about it?
casual smiling Oleander person. Or Oleander person.
Yeah, I think that Azar just says, it is a brutal time. There will be no further discussion on this.
They nod, walk away.
Okay. After the commander has chosen which mission will be played through, the marshal will assign a squad and up to 2 specialists to each mission. Each mission must have at least 1 specialist of an appropriate type, or the mission's engagement will suffer -1d. These are both recon missions. They require a scout or a sniper.
So, for the primary mission, I've assigned the officer Abunalance and the scout Lark to lead the Ember Wolves. And I think Nabain is also going to tag along there.
Okay.
Because having a doctor on the main mission is generally safer.
Have we introduced this officer character yet?
We have not. Officer Abunalance, or Lance for short, is from the Chimorti. He uses he/him pronouns.
I think this might be the only specialist we have that wasn't on that opening mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So what I have right now is that he's pious. His special ability is lead from the front, which lets him do group actions better. And he's a talky kind of guy.
Yeah. Officers are pretty much just what you'd expect. They are people that have trained specifically to be leaders in squad tactics.
Gavin, you also marked Chimera here. So can I ask what animal traits or other traits this guy has?
Good question.
Here's a question from me. Are there any animals that are off the table? I'm specifically asking Matthew as the person that...
Okay. I thought this was more of a lines and veils. No, I don't. I think that it's not even just animals, right? Because the whole thing with
Sure.
the Chimorti is they travel all around the place. They interact with either chosen or divine relics fairly frequently relative to the regular population, which means that they end up with a weird series of mixed up traits from various reasons, physical and otherwise.
Gotcha.
Okay. I know what Abunalance looks like now.
Okay.
It's what if Ninechi was trans?
What's an Anechi?
That's the thing.
Oh, that's the thing I
the
didn't
clips. That's the divorced girl.
Oh, good. Okay, so a beach pear trans man. Love it.
Yeah.
Sorry, a peach bear, not a beach pear. Now hold on. Now, let's think about a
Trans
beach bear
man.
for a second.
I'm not positive I know what a peach bear is.
To confuse listeners, we're talking about a VTuber.
You do know what a peach bear is. You saw the clip.
I mean, just seeing something and understanding it are two different things.
Yeah, it might be
It is
helpful to visually describe this strange entity.
Okay. So,
for all I know,
Lance-
what I see is completely different from what you see.
let me try and look hard into the
The
shape of this
The
person.
top result I'm getting is a beanie baby, which is just a peach-colored bear.
Okay.
I don't think he's a beanie baby,
So-
probably.
So Abunalance has like blonde, reddish, pink hair, and I don't know, like bear ears.
That's what they
Okay.
look like. But as a second set, so 2 sets of ears, just like this creature, or just 1 set of ears?
Yeah, it has 2 pairs of ears, where the hair buns should be
Right, yeah.
an extra set of bear ears, and 1 fang for that anime.
Jesus Christ. Wow, this is so grimdark, and by that I mean it's extraordinarily anime.
Let's talk about what makes
Yeah.
good grimdark.
Yeah, you need to have bear ears.
Goku.
At some point, we'll
Okay.
just come clean about it and admit to ourselves that this has been an anime podcast all along.
Never.
Look, anime can be grimdark.
This is actually pretty good.
That's true.
I just found a picture on
R.I.P.
DeviantArt. Who is this?
Okay.
DeviantArt.
That's the Nechi.
DeviantArt user
Oh.
Watery Winter has done some art of Nenechi holding 2 guns with a bear in the background. That feels a little bit more Consonant Legion-y.
Yeah, I like it.
He's wearing a uniform, though.
Yeah, not a dress.
Nenechi's outfit. And he doesn't have to have the same personality either, so I'm not going to force anybody to...
Yeah, I don't know anything
try
about
and do
Nenechi's
that.
personality. Except that I guess she says divorce sometimes.
No, so her shtick is that all of her viewers are her husbands,
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
and so people will, like, send her super chats that are like, I can't be your husband, I'm in a relationship, and she's like, excuse me? How dare you?
It's very endearing in a girl boss kind of way.
Jesus.
But in like a parody of a girl boss kind of way.
Yeah.
She's gatekeeping other people from having relationships.
100%. That's like
Gaslighting them into remaining.
Yes.
perfect trifecta.
Yeah.
The most grimdark of Hololive.
3G. Anyways, who's
Okay,
going to be embodying this character?
Great question.
Brendan, you're gonna get ats if you put that in the recording.
You know what? I'm not afraid.
I'll take the ads. I want more Twitter friends.
Hey, at me.
Yeah.
Would you
Add
just-
Brendan
would-
about Hachaba
At
if
me-
you want.
At me on twitter.com. So it sounds like what we have someone who is polished, who embodies that sort of young, enthusiastic officer kind of ideal, or at least did up until the point of like this tragic battle going so sideways.
Yeah, there's a brightness to him.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So, unlike other Blades in the Dark missions, you deliberately choose what specifically you're bringing before we set off, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
So, let's talk through who's going to be these characters.
I'm good with playing Lark again.
Okay.
Cool.
I also put the 2 rookies that we saved on the Ember Wolves.
Yes.
So
Yeah, you could play Penthos, or you could play Jemma, or someone brand new.
Huh. Okay. Kris, do you have any thoughts?
Not really. I don't. This officer seems real talky. I don't know how much talking I have in me today. Today was one of those days where the best I could do was stare at the ceiling. So
Yeah.
mhm.
You could always play the more quiet of the 2 anime rookie boys.
God, which one was that? I remember their names, Jemma and Penthos. I just don't remember who was
Yeah, we had.
dying and who was not.
Yeah, Penthos was the one that was at death's door, but who has recovered.
Okay. So
Jemma
was the anime protagonist.
I'm down to play Lance then.
Okay,
Cool.
For some reason, I'm imagining him as Revolver Ocelot from the Metal Gear Solid series.
absolutely, yes.
Kinda.
Like young Ocelot from 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's absolutely.
With bear
100%.
ears.
With bear
Yeah,
ears.
with
Bear Boy Revolver Ocelot. Let me just type that in
No, don't do it.
to the Google.
Turn safe search on.
Oh no. That's a hell of a name. Revolver Ocelot? Okay.
Yes.
Chris, welcome to
he's-
Metal
I don't know
Gear.
anything about these
he's a
video
great
I
character.
don't know anything about these video games.
Okay, so it sounds like I'm playing Nabain, and Chris, you're going to be playing Penthos.
Yep.
Okay, just so other people know for making their decision around utility, I'm going to go with, because I'm Nabain and I'm pious, I'm going to have repair kit, books and scrolls, and reliquary. So I am ready to be a resource.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna take compass and maps.
Cool.
Cool, excellent. I'm also going normal with Penthos. Normal for a rookie is all light items plus a family weapon and either tents and camping gear or a cooking kit and fresh food. Both of those concern the shit out of me. I don't know that we're gonna have. I'm real worried about you're gonna have time to set up, make a meal. That sounds sick. Because it does sound nice, but I don't know that that's gonna happen here if our thing is get in, get the dude, and fucking leave.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So there's that. I'll just go with the cooking kit and fresh food for now. Because, maybe this Eyes of Smoke person just needs a meal and then things will be fine, maybe.
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 Lark, what are you taking?
I'm going to be light load. I'm also taking a flare gun and a soldier's kit.
Cool. What does a flare gun look like? In this world, I mean.
It's a tube
Yeah.
with a hole on one end, and you feed the wick through the hole and light it, and it launches out of your hand into
Awesome.
the air and explodes.
Cool. The next step is Quartermaster. You may add plus 1d to the engagement roll by spending a resource based on the mission type. Specialists on that mission will equip extra gear based on your choice.
Yes.
If you want, you can equip the mission with horses.
Yeah, I think I'm going to equip the secondary mission with horses.
Okay.
But not the primary.
Gotcha.
'Cause,
Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Give them as many chances to get a 6, please.
absolutely. We skipped over a step earlier because we don't have any intel where the commander could have spent it to ask questions.
No, if you still have 0 intel, I think you can ask a...
There are 0 intel questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
Ooh.
let's get into it. What questions do you have?
Yeah, so if you hold 0 more intel, ask one of the following question. What's the highest threat we can expect on these missions? How much travel should we expect for the missions? What would be a useful item to bring on this mission? What are 2 approaches we could use here on a mission? Which squads distrust or don't respect the leadership? Or how does our chosen feel about these missions? Brendan, what would be a useful item to bring on this mission?
Good question. What I am landing on might be the flare gun.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that is that you have not had a whole lot of exposure to encountering the Never as an organized force. But what you have encountered is that the forces of Whisper, the Broken that was once known as Chara, likes to employ methods of deception and methods of things not quite being what they seem, but that approach often involves small numbers of extremely cunning leaders and larger hordes of relatively mindless forces. A lot of times, if you can manage to create enough of a commotion or a severe enough distraction, you can buy yourself a window of opportunity before things start to get really hairy.
Okay. Well, good thing we've got our tube.
Marshall, assemble the dice pool and make an engagement roll for the primary mission.
All right. Are all on the mission Oathsworn to the Legion? Yes. Did the commander spend one intel to give you foresight and info? No. Is everyone on the mission a specialist or soldier? No. Does any Legionnaire distrust the leadership or not fear them enough to obey orders on the battlefield? No. Are required specialists or equipment not on the mission? No. Did the quartermaster spend horses to equip this mission? No. Is any Legionnaire starting with the heavy load? No. So that means we get 1 die, or it doesn't say we start with 1 for luck. Let me just double check.
Yeah, that sounds important.
Nope. There's no 1 for luck.
There is not.
There's no 1 for luck in this game.
Yeah.
That scans.
Makes sense.
1D, here we go. Ha!
That's a 6.
Oh! Yo!
We're gonna roll 6s this entire game. Nothing bad has ever been
Probably.
happening.
Fingers crossed.
It's going to be great. Loggerhead is a timber town. It has a lot of young forest growing around it, places that have obviously been harvested for their timber and then replanted and are in varying states of regrowth. It is a cluster of a few dozen small houses surrounding a central square that is overlooked by a big lumber mill that is situated on the banks of the river. And on the outskirts, there is a surprisingly charming looking tavern and inn. The sort of place that looks like, I think we the players would recognize it as like a bed and breakfast kind of thing, which, is not probably not as common a phenomena in this world. But this town seems to have one. It has just sort of like a little idyllic, I guess not particularly small. It was probably small once and sort of garnered a reputation as sort of a rustic getaway for folks that really just wanted to, to get away from their big city manners and just like live a little plainly for the weekend. This was a place that was small enough but connected enough that people felt like they could get through it. And for all that idyllicness, it hasn't lost a whole lot of it. Or so it would seem from the approach of the oncoming Never. As far as you can tell, there are folks that are going about their business. There's sort of a strange mist hanging over the river. That's not particularly odd. Sometimes you get mist, particularly after the big storms that it swept through. And so maybe there's fewer people out than would be. But you can see people sort of slowly going about their business. I think there's actually like signage to do with like welcoming, like welcome to Loggerhead. There's like a sign that very clearly marks the inn that you can very clearly see down the hill. And there's a sign that points out the mill again, which you can pretty obviously see from here. And yeah, I think you can see that there are people out and about. There's an eerie kind of quiet to the place and an eerie stillness, but no, not the signs of trouble that perhaps you might have expected to see.
Can we review what the mission brief was again?
Sure, absolutely. You heard from refugees coming from the Aniculum that an augur from the Eyes of Smoke came to this village, I think ahead of the battle, to secure something or to meet someone or something like that, and was supposed to have sent a message back to the Omniculum once he arrived safely. But no one heard from him.
What time of day do you think it is when we arrive?
You're in a controlled position. I'm happy for you to tell me. What time do you want it to be?
We probably arrive at night and could leave whenever we want.
Sure.
I think Abunalance starts like getting people to set up like a small camp kind of near the tavern, like maybe in that southern area of the tavern, but like wants to go in there himself just to make sure that the town doesn't feel like burdened by this force that is passing through, and is going to, spend some money at this tavern, put some currency into the local economy just to make it seem like they're not a
Yeah, 100%. Give me I guess a sway. Let's give me a sway.
Cool. Yeah. I'm trying to be convincing. I'm trying to like, glad hand a little bit. I think that's probably
sure.
sway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think Abunalance is like he's wearing his fine cloak, fine ornate cloak. I think it has like a gold foil kind of look to it almost.
Cool.
He's like nonchalant, but he carries himself as being sort of narcissistic, I think. And he probably like has like some sort of amulet around his neck that is some sort of reliquary. And I think he like kisses it before he goes in. He steps into the tavern and starts to start a conversation with the either the barkeep or if there's like a host or something like that.
I think there's probably at this
somebody.
time of day, there's a barkeep and maybe someone that's like sweeping up or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Control standard.
Sweet. I'm just going to roll straight. That's a 5.
5. Okay. Great. Good. Break me off a piece. What do you say to this barkeep as you strut up?
Is this like intimidating at all for this like military force to be like rolling into town? Like, do people seem perturbed?
I mean, if it's like first thing in the morning, probably not a lot of people have like paid a ton of attention just yet. And like, it's 2 specialists in a squad, so it's like 7 people, right?
Yeah.
Well, 8 people, because 3 special.
Right, that's right.
I think he still wants to kind of like roll in, maybe have a couple people wait outside just to kind of keep an eye on surroundings, make sure that like this isn't some sort of weird trap.
No, I'm with you. This place has Silent Hill vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since we know that Chara or Whisper is involved, and Whisper can make things seem different than they are. Being a pious man, he is also a fearful man in this setting. So yeah, he wants to roll in. He wants to get sort of a beat on the people, at least in this tavern. Other people can come in, but I think he does want at least a rookie and like a specialist on watch outside.
All right, Nabain's coming in with you.
I'll stand watch with Penthos.
Sure. Yep.
What time is it?
It's probably like 6:30 p.m. ish, like evening. Is that what this is?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. So it's what's the vibe in here? Are there like people drinking and hanging out?
I think
People
there's
just
a bartender and there's someone sweeping the floor.
Okay.
Yeah. And you strut in, and you've rolled a 5 on your sway.
Yeah.
What do you say to this bartender?
Hello there. We are just passing through, making sure that these townships are safe. Have you had any reports from the front, from towns nearby? Has there been any turmoil out here?
He was like, I think, like half turned away from you, sort of a balding man with a big mustache, rabbit ears.
Nice.
And like turns to face you. And you can see from the bags under his eyes that he hasn't slept in at least a week.
Yeah.
He is manically, but like it with an energy that is both like tremendously like quick, but also like he hasn't slept in a week, like cleaning the same bar glass out. And he like tries to blubber a reply back to you. And his eyes are like darting back and forth between you and the door. And is like, and like, it's like he wants to open his mouth and say something, but can't quite generate the energy necessary in order to do it.
Yeah. I think Lance is like kind of striking a pose almost in a way that like has his cloak kind of partially off of his hip to show like the revolver at his side. Just trying to seem like a soldier, like an officer. And he walks closer towards this barkeep and says, "Oh, I didn't quite hear you. Is everything all right? Do you need some support?" Nabain.
Nabain hustles up.
Does this man look all right? Do you need some help?
I think he draws back as you get closer. He's not running away, but he's not letting you get like intimately close.
I think that Nabain sort of gets as close as he seems to be able to, given this sort of strange behavior, and is just going to take a good look at this guy. I think specifically what he's looking for are like paying attention to how much he's sweating around his temples to see if he might have some kind of fever. Paying attention to like tremors, seeing if there's any like discoloration or like runic signs of a curse, these kinds of things. What I'm angling is for a research roll here.
Yeah, research works, I think. Before you do that, we got a 5 and not a 6 on this roll.
Yep.
It's a success and consequence.
Yeah, absolutely. And so while that is happening, I think whoever this was, this other gentleman that is like sweeping the floor, like without saying anything, like puts up his broom and goes to leave out the back. And I'm going to create a clock and tick it once.
Is that resistible?
It is absolutely resistible.
What size clock is it?
This is going to be a 6-step clock.
Okay. What kind of resistance would that be to like? Would that be like an insight thing to like see that this person was leaving, or
we could do a flashback where we've actually surrounded the building. The guy tries to leave and bumps into Lark and Penthos picking their noses or something.
Could that be a resolve resistance then to like have set this up to have Lark go around back?
I think you're right that insight is probably the thing here.
Okay.
To have realized, hey, we should surround the building before I go inside.
Okay. Because I am realizing that Lance has 4 dice in resolve resistance, which is pretty damn good. Seems like his biggest power.
Does having done a flashback here take the place of rolling?
I've never figured that out.
Because I know you can do flashbacks to like make narrative reason to do things, but I've never heard of flashbacks as like a way to resist something.
Yeah, I'll say that's a 0 stress flashback, and I'll say that whatever you roll, it'll be 1 better because of that flashback.
So whatever the result is, you take 1 less stress.
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
Yeah, 2d6.
Happy to roll then.
That's a 5.
Yeah, no problem. 0 stress. Lark, you stop this person on their way out?
Yeah. The guy walks out and Lark immediately grabs the person by their shirt and pushes them against the wall.
This is like an older man, kind of bony, who's like staring at the ground as he walks and doesn't avert his eyes from the ground as you throw him against the wall. But there is kind of like a weird, like at the moment that he hits the wall, there's like some sort of, you have a weird reminiscence of like suddenly being at worship or something. You're not sure why. But he stops moving. He's just like standing there, like leaning against the wall, staring at the ground.
And I sign for Penthos to start talking to this guy.
Did we want to resolve Nabain's role inside?
Right, Nabain
before going into this.
Yeah, Nabain was going to do a research.
This might flow into each other pretty naturally.
Sure.
Which is Nabain maybe calling out to the people outside to like check for certain things, like just all part of the same thing.
Yeah, can Penthos count this as helping?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so then I'm at 3d6. 3d6, are we still in controlled?
Yes you are.
Okay. 36 controlled sounds fine to me. Let's go ahead and roll that. And then, of course, I'm going to roll that and it'll be 3 1s. But you know what? Sometimes it's just like that. Well, that's 1-4. It's 1 success. Oh, gosh.
Beautiful.
Oh boy.
Love it. Okay. He's feverish. He hasn't slept. He's scared out of his wits.
Mm-hmm.
And like once this other guy has like left the room, he's like crying so hard he's heaving.
Oof.
Like I've but he seems, aside from that, okay. This guy outside, though.
Mm-hmm. Can we hear any of what's happening inside? Any of this, like, person starting to cry and just having a terrible time?
Yeah, it's just sort of like a low moan, because it's like behind like a heavy wooden door,
Yeah.
I think. But you check the same things. You check the temples. You check the ears. And this guy is quiet. This guy is strange. But he doesn't necessarily seem sick. And then you're looking down the rest of his face. And you're looking down his pale, shriveled old neck. And you see a scratch of dried blood underneath his shirt, just above where it hides his chest. And I think that whether it was something that you saw at the Omniculum, or maybe even something that someone had told you, but you can see, now that you know to look, these scratches, these chiseled marks, this rune carved into his chest. And when you look back up, you can see that he is looking at you now. Eyes fixed, unblinking. And he opens his mouth, and a single note of song, like he was one part in a choir, comes out of his mouth, steady, unbroken. And in the mist, out in the village of Loggerhead, you can hear other voices respond and join the chorus. You drop into a risky position as the hexed reveal themselves.
Gonna clamp my hand over his mouth.
That will shut him up, but I don't think it'll take you out of risky.
I pull the like amulet off of my neck.
Uh-huh.
The one that was a reliquary. I think it was an eyeball, but it like petrified.
Nice. That's awesome.
And he just kind of like has it in his hand, kind of like rosary beads, sort of like with the chain kind of like through his fingers, and just kind of like puts it on the bar table and kind of slides it towards this crying barkeep, just to see if it like reacts or if they react at all.
There's no like, he doesn't flinch away from it or anything like that. He doesn't even seem to notice it.
I think that Nabain, seeing this, says, I don't believe that this man has been afflicted. Many others in this village clearly have, but I believe that he is just terrified.
Well, you have nothing to fear from us. We are here looking for somebody. Has anybody new come to town lately besides of us?
I like this guy's just heaving with tears, and this officer's like, well,
I think
anyway.
he like collapses and begins like, he curls up fetal on the ground at the sound of the song. It is like, ah!
Well, I was hoping we could do this the easy way. Do you think this man is safe to leave alone?
Yes, for the time. I believe that he is not as much a danger to himself as the things that are coming this way.
Lark, this guy is going to try to bite you.
It slit his throat.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You can
fuck.
just do that. Penthos, what is your reaction to Lark just immediately murking this guy?
That about
Uh-huh.
scans. Yep. I think when Lark got him to start questioning the guy, I think he was probably going for starts with general questions, and then if those don't get much of a response, it's going for yes or no questions. Finds that it's a lot like talking to Lark, but less terrifying because it doesn't look like this guy is gonna hit him. And yeah, just seeing Lark just cover the person's mouth and then just kill them. Penthos is just okay, that happened. Is just looking to Lark for what do we do? Because there's singing from around outside.
Yeah.
I think Penthos is whipped around and is looking for any approaching people singing or things singing, making this noise, because this is awful.
I think as he tumbles to the ground, it's almost as if the notes sputter and spill out of his throat.
Like he's still trying to sing through the slit throat.
Or something is trying to sing through the slit throat, yes.
Okay.
There is an amount of noise that must come out, and it was not done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Penthos is eyes go wide for a second, because that all just happened very suddenly, and then he just kind of blinks it off and looks to Lark with a sort of what now face? What do we do now? And then if there's singing happening around in the background, is turning around to try to see where that's coming from, because where's it coming from, and is it approaching us?
Yeah, so you're at the Two Timbers Inn. It seems to be coming from both areas of the village that are adjacent to you. It's all
Cool.
It has the effect of if there was a swarm of carolers closing in on your position, but each of them was just singing a single note without stopping for breath.
Are they harmonizing at least?
No,
Or is it just
absolutely.
monotone? Okay.
They are singing different notes, but it is absolutely not harmonizing.
Okay.
Sick. Yeah, Penthos is just gonna turn to Lark and ask, should we go inside?
Lark's just gonna bang on the door, some sort of knock, we need to move.
Mm-hmm.
Shaving a haircut.
Abunalance looks to Nabain and gestures outside. And the rest of the rookies, are they just kind of split between our two groups?
I figured they were surrounding the inn. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what else is of interest here? We have the rest of the village. We have the mill. Should we start moving towards the town square? Get a central reference point for this place? Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah. I order the group to start moving. I guess let's take the road. Or do we not want to be conspicuous?
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea to me.
Okay.
We also don't probably want to be sandwiched in between these two groups
Yeah.
that are coming this way.
Gotcha. And we have maps, so we know the layout of the
Yeah, that's true.
the village more or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's cut towards the kind of this section of buildings here adjacent to the town square. Yeah, it's the group of buildings just below the mill.
Okay. And you're trying to go quiet?
Yeah.
You're trying to not be discovered?
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like... This is probably a group... Is it maneuver? Is maneuver the
I
appropriate
think it's
thing here?
maneuver.
Yeah.
There's no
Maneuver's
prowl.
the closest one. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna lead because I can improve scale up or down one level with my lead from the front ability. And I'm gonna make us seem like a much smaller group.
Solid.
Risky standard.
Okay.
Hey, there's a 6.
Just
Yeah.
one.
And only 1 stress.
Yeah, one stress from Nabain.
It's
Big
it's the
backpack
backpack.
slamming into
It's the
buildings, yeah.
backpack.
It's always the backpack.
Okay, you do it. You manage, I think, to keep a low profile. Once you realize that there are perhaps more adversaries present than you had realized, you begin to check your corners. You begin to move quietly. You begin to move precisely towards the mill. And I think that you can see, once you get to this position, that there are plenty of people still moving through the village, but they are moving with purpose now. They are not necessarily like moving the way you would expect trained soldiers or even city guards to necessarily like hunt, but there are very clearly groups of 2 to 3 of what look to all outward appearance as regular folks, but who have fallen under Whisper's sway. There are groups of 2 to 3 of these folks walking as casually as if it was social hour after services through the village, but very clearly like looking in nooks and crannies and periodically giving out like a or to add to this weird disharmony throughout the village. From here, I think you can see that there is one particularly large building that oversees the square, which looks like a foreman's manor or something like that. It's like the only building in the village that's 3 stories tall. And then the mill, which is, not insignificant, does not seem to have a whole lot of commotion around it. It doesn't have the comings and goings of these townsfolk that you see throughout the rest of the village.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think we can figure out where to go? That's the big issue here. Because if we can find our bounty, we at least have like a goal in mind.
I could do some scouting.
Yeah, we might need to like find somewhere to like hide away, because there's clearly people out looking for something, and considering we made people start scream singing, the something might be us. Do we want to like... I mean, I guess we've gotten a bit out of the way, so that's probably fine for, the moment.
Yeah, I think scouting next makes sense.
Is the mill like a bigger structure than the rest of the buildings?
Yeah. I think the central mill itself is the biggest structure for miles around. And then there's a couple of small, like, storage buildings surrounding it.
And there's also that 3-story tall house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shall we split up? We have a
No.
flare gun if we all need
Well,
to.
it's your choice. You're in charge. What are your orders, officer? Should we split up?
I wanted to find somebody we could talk to about this situation, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. What seems like the most logical place to hide something from us?
I could scout that.
Is this Lark speaking or signing?
This is Lark signing.
Okay.
Got it.
Or maybe just doing it.
Right. Not even asking.
I maybe he's like, Lark, would you mind scouting? And then Lark's
Turn around and
gone.
Lark's not there.
What's the position in effect here?
I think you're still a risky standard.
Okay. That's a 5.
Okay. How do you do this? Describe.
So we're on the edge of the square, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to climb onto a roof.
Cool. And you're specifically trying to figure out, like, where this auger might be?
Which seems stronger protected, the mill or the house?
So there's definitely people inside the ground floor of the house. I think you get a pretty clear view of the second and third floor, and you don't see a whole lot of commotion in there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is to say that it's tight, it's bottlenecked, which means it's difficult to get out once you're up there, but it seems relatively secure. The mill, likewise, seems like it has a lot of secure places, but it's simply too big without doing like a walkabout of the location to tell what might be inside.
Okay.
That said, I think you very distinctly see that none of the townsfolk are going over there. They're not deliberately avoiding it, but their patrol paths just don't seem to take them that way.
So the townsfolk aren't gathering at the tavern. They're doing a sweep of the city.
I think some of them probably headed that way. And then others are like, none of them are moving faster than a walk. And some of them have definitely gone off in that direction.
Okay. What is our best approach for the house?
Over rooftop, absolutely.
Okay.
You roll a 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone spots you. I think when you're looking over at the house, you spot an Arcadian woman standing at the window, dressed in this black gown, looking back out at you. She has a pair of spiral horns, like a kudu.
Do I recognize her?
I don't think so. You could resist this to, like, duck away and not get seen.
Yeah, I'd like to resist this somehow.
Prowess, I think.
Prowess? Okay, cool. And I'm rolling 4d6.
Oof.
That's 2 stress.
Yep.
That was a 1-1-4-2 for
Oh
y'all.
my god.
Got me worried.
Do you just duck out of the way? Do you suddenly go
Yeah.
prone?
Sudden movements are bad.
Uh-huh.
This is a very careful, slow disappear. Where, like, maybe the person is looking at me, but, I'm in a uniform that is a certain camouflage. So maybe if I move slow enough, she won't notice.
Move slow enough and you blend into the shingles on the roof.
Yeah. So, like,
Perfect.
if you're looking at the horizon and suddenly something disappears from a rooftop, you're like, oh, that was a person.
Uh-huh.
But if you're looking at the horizon and something slowly disappears, you never notice it.
Yeah, I think you're relatively confident that you weren't seen.
Okay.
When you look back, she's gone. Oathsworn is an actual play podcast created by
Devin Nelson.
Gavin Fregeau.
Kris Allison.
Matthew Guzdial.
and me, Brendan McLeod. All music for the show is created by Devin Nelson. Find it and more at devindecibel.bandcamp.com. Find a link to their music and any of the games that we've played in the podcast description. Follow us at OathSworn Pod on Twitter or OathSworn on co-host. Until next time.